Good evening, everyone. We'll get this meeting called to order at 7:02. Diane, you have notes?
Yes.
Minutes? Thank you. Can I have a motion to elevate the alternates, please?
Motion to elevate alternates?
Thank you, Michael. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Right. Acceptance of the agenda. I'd like to add Rick Osborne, the foreman of the town crew. He has something he wants to bring to us and ask. So if we could put that as old business A and move everything down.
Lynn, there was some stuff you sent us today. Does that need to be added as well?
That was, one of those will go under the monthly budget report. And yes, I think we're gonna need to add, what was the other one? Field maintenance, I think I sent, was that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So we can put that down on,
And didn't you
Eight.
have something about baseball?
yeah, I'm getting to that. There's a whole bunch of little things that I caught on the emails that I wanted to bring up. We don't have to, they can wait until the next meeting if you want to. We can put them,
Lynn,
yeah.
Julia's is waiting to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We can put them as 8B, new business B. And that can be field maintenance, and then C can be all the little things from the emails, which is mostly about sports programs. Does everyone agree with that? So we have old business A is Rick, new business B would be the field maintenance, and C would be the sports. If everyone is okay with that, anyone else have anything they need to add? If not, can someone make a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Thank you, Diane. A second.
Second, John.
Thank you, John. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Was any? Let's skip the correspondence. I guess I could do some of that there, but we already have it on here. Public and invited guests. I don't see anybody besides Rick, who will, we'll bring him in a minute. Our next order of business would be every January, we elect a chairman. So usually the director would do this, but I've asked Rufus to take this over. So Rufus, if you could do that, please.
So first order would be taking nominations from the group.
I'd like to nominate, oh, go ahead, John.
John,
I was gonna say if I could nominate Lynn as chairperson.
do we have a second for that?
Second, I second.
Diane, thank
I'm
you.
allowed to be as an alternate.
I'd also like to nominate Julia as chair.
Is there a second for that?
Second.
Kate, thank you. Lynn, would you like to make any comments for your nomination or?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Julia? Is she here? Yeah,
Rufus, could I just make some comment, share why I'd like to nominate Julia?
yes. Okay, go ahead.
Um, Now that we're bringing on a new director, I think it would be a great time for new leadership. And I think Julia's really well suited for the job because she has participated in both director searches. I think she brings fresh perspective. She's introduced 2 new programs since she's been on the board or on the commission. She's really demonstrated a dedication to being very communicative, collaborative. She has great organizational skills, working well with others, and just, I think she's studied other Parks and Rec and how they work through the search committees, and I think she'd be a great leader.
Okay. Any other comments? Julia, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm honored to be nominated, and I'm also extremely appreciative of everything that Lynn has done for the commission.
Okay. Open for discussion before any vote?
I'm a little concerned just because I feel like, no disparaging either of the candidates, but I do feel that Lynn does have a lot of kind of historical knowledge of what's required, and wonder if that is something that, Julia, that you feel confident in as we bring in someone new. Lots of new stuff to learn, whether we want 2 people trying to learn at the same time, or maybe how you feel about that versus, kind of being on your feet and learning as you go.
Sorry, I am a little bit caught off guard by this. I mean, I'm happy to learn as I go. Also, I'd be happy to work with Lynn too. If people were looking, like, I don't know if we've ever done anything with co-chairs, but if people are wanting to have an additional person in there, Lynn and I have been able to work really well together during the director search. So that might be something if we were worried about a transition, but I don't know that I came into the meeting this evening totally prepared to speak to this, but I'm happy to search in any way, or to serve in any way, and also collaborate with anyone as well too. But I do think I'm a capable person in any respect on the commission.
I'll just kind of speak for some very early discussion that the group, the subcommittee that's working on the bylaws and the Constitution had. And one of the things that we were knocking around was the idea that this is an enormous responsibility for volunteers. There's a lot of legwork and communication required. And one of the things that we had kicked around, and I don't know if anybody else on the commission, the subcommittee would like to speak to this, but we did talk about the idea of kind of having 2 major groups within Park and Rec programming and of the maintenance pieces. And so this, to me, the idea of maybe sharing responsibility is an interesting one. I don't know how other people feel about that, or Rufus, whether or not that's even something that we are okay considering.
I don't know whether that could be considered. I mean, what do the bylaws call for? A chairman?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think
Oh.
it's the bylaws call for a chairman, and it was something we were discussing in the bylaws subcommittee because we'd have to change the bylaws
Right.
if we wanted to have a co-chair chairmanship. So I don't know if, we're not in an official capacity where we can be changing the bylaws at this point. 'Cause we have to-
Stage. So I would think it would, would have to come down to voting for a chairman at this stage of the game.
And I'll just reiterate that I think through both being on both search committees, the interim director and the director, I think Julie has gotten a pretty good taste of everything that's required for the director. So I definitely have a vote of confidence that she has a good sense of what's expected of the role and how it works.
Anybody else have anything they want to contribute to the discussion here? John, you nominated Lynn. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, she's got the experience, and going with a new Park and Rec director, we need somebody with the experience and that has to make decisions as soon as possible. So yeah, my vote is for Lynn.
Mike, do you have anything you want to put in here?
I didn't come prepared to weigh those options, but two good options. You have Lynn, great experience in stewardship, and then you have Julia, who has taken on a lot of leadership roles in a short amount of time. So it's I only see pros on both sides.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Lynn has the experience and Julie has done a phenomenal job. It's too bad that there isn't a way, because I know Lynn, you felt overwhelmed a lot with a lot of this stuff this past year. And if the responsibility could be shared, it would be wonderful, I think. I don't
I
know.
think there was a lot on me because we didn't have a director. Once the director gets in and trained, a lot of this will be off of the whole board's shoulders. We won't, the director can make decisions that I, as a member of the commission, can't make. So we have to have a lot of meetings. We had to have a lot of meetings to make those decisions. So once the director's in, a lot of those decisions that we had to gather to make can be made by the director. I'm looking forward to that when we can all rely on a new director.
Any other comments? Kate, do you?
I would echo a lot of what's already been said. I guess there's been, I don't know, there's been, I think, an eagerness for, I know COVID's been a particular obstacle and our lack of a director has been a particular obstacle, but there's always something to be said in schools. There's always been change is hard, but sometimes new leadership is a really wonderful thing. And Lynn's done extraordinary things for this group. And I don't know, when Abigail mentioned having Julia take over, I thought that sounded like a pretty nice new chapter for the Kent Parks and Rec Commission. but nothing against Lynn. The experience for sure is an important thing. But new blood is something, can be something great.
And any other discussion for, there's a vote?
Is there any advocacy here for, I don't know, putting a hold on a vote until we can look at the bylaws? I mean, I really love both, I think both these women have a lot to give, and I wonder if we're making a tough choice when we maybe don't need to. I don't know if we, I don't know if we're ready, certainly we're not ready with the bylaw rewrite, though we probably could be for some initial response in the shorter term, but I don't know if people feel like they would.
I would add to that, Blythe. I think it's pretty clear to the group that Julia's been caught a little off guard by this. So we might be doing everyone a favor if we just take a beat and maybe give her a chance to think about it too.
I'd appreciate that if we're able to do it. I also think that it would be, instead of just having, like, it feels like a lot of pressure on the group tonight to have to figure this out. If there is a way in the bylaws to do co-chairs or kind of split the responsibilities in parks and programming, I think that would be great, but maybe just give everybody a chance to kind of pause and think about it.
So would everybody be open to voting on this at our next commission meeting, which is in 2 weeks from now? And in the meantime, the bylaws group gets together and also has the proposal for how we want to update the bylaws to create the space for co-chairs?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. And Lynn, I'm just curious how you would feel if that was if it is an option to have a co-chair. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I don't care either way. Like I said, once the director is in place, things will, once they're in place and trained, things will go back down to normal.
Lynn, can you share why you want to be the chair? You want to continue being the chair?
Why not? I've been doing it for 3 years. I've been on this board for 15 years. I don't mind doing it. Yes, I have been overwhelmed because we haven't had a director. I've been trying to do as much as I can without having to keep bothering everybody, because when we had the meetings, everybody got irritated with either long meetings or too many meetings. So I was trying not to do that. But like I said before, as a member of the commission, I can't make decisions. I'm 1/8 of a vote, 1/6 of a vote, excuse me. So whatever happens, I'm good with. Like I said, I'm 1/6 of a vote, so 1/8, 1/9, whatever we're doing. We got Rufus now.
Underneath the, if we look at it on, the existing bylaws say that the election of the chairman is done in January. Traditionally, there was only one meeting in January. The options are we stick with one chairman under the present bylaws. Under the bylaws, that's, I think, all we can do. And when the bylaw committee comes in, if they choose to suggest a co-chair at that time, we can nominate somebody to join the chairman as co-chair. You know, the idea that we would postpone it to this, to our second January meeting doesn't necessarily violate the bylaws because it's still done in January. If But I think that the vote has to be in January, according to the bylaws, and I'm not sure the bylaw committee is, I have no idea whether the bylaw committee would be prepared to propose something in 2 weeks.
Do we need a motion to vote in 2 weeks?
Well,
I think that, I don't know since we've gotten this far, but it might just be able to be tabled. I don't know. Like you said, it's still in January.
All right, I say we move on and we let the bylaws committee meet, and then it gives everybody a chance to think about it, including Julia, and we vote at our next meeting.
Abigail, why don't you want me to be chairman so badly?
It's not that I don't want you to be chairman, Lynn. I've just noticed that you seem quite frustrated with all of us. Your emails can be a little prickly, and I just got a sense that maybe you're exhausted from the last year. So I thought having change and somebody that was new and fresh and energized would be a great way to start the new Parks and Rec. You know, as we've heard, Parks and Rec's been dormant for a long time, and just to have change. We have a new director, and I thought it would be apropos to have a new chair just to go along with that. It's not a criticism on you, other than I just observed, I thought I've said it over and over in like every meeting that you've taken heroic, I don't know, you've been a hero in trying to keep ASP going, fighting to just keep us like meeting regularly, keeping things going. So I'm taking it from, maybe Lynn needs a break. Maybe she's exhausted. It's not that you're a bad chair. And I just get the sense from the emails that you're like, hey, step up, do something, come on, people. So I'm here saying that maybe having a new person just to have fresh blood, try something new, have a new leader, see where it takes us. We've got a great group of people. Just, you know, Julia's brought in some new novel programming that the town has never seen before. So just new energy could be exciting.
Well, it's not that the town hasn't seen it before. It's definitely been here before. She resurrected things, and she brought
She's doing things.
You know,
She's doing.
she brought a
things,
program
and that's
forward.
exciting.
Yes, couple programs, and she's done a wonderful job with Michael. And
she sat on both the selection committees, so I think she's really demonstrated a commitment to whoever runs Park and Rec.
I've sat on numerous too. Through the 15
Yeah,
years.
I'm not. It's not a you or her. It's just you asked why, and I just you know.
You've tried to just call me
certainly-
out a couple of times, so, and obviously it was talked about before, which, you know, in the next 2 weeks, unless you're in a public meeting, it should not be discussed.
I mentioned to Julia that I would like to nominate her. I think I can do that
I think you
With-
mentioned to Kate
on
too.
my own. No, I
Or
didn't.
just tonight? Okay.
No, that's not
Okay.
true.
Actually, Julia had no idea I was going to do it. Clearly,
Yeah,
she's taken off
she
guard.
clearly had
This
no
isn't a
idea.
premeditated thing. So I caught the whole group
Okay.
off guard. No one expected me to do this.
I'm just pointing
I'm
out
just
to
doing what I think's right for this commission. I think we got some great things going, some good momentum. And I just think we got to build on that.
So are we tabling this then?
That's up to the commission. I mean, we have 2 nominees and that's as far as we've gotten. We're in the discussion stage, so we would have to vote at the next January meeting.
My feeling is that we should give Julia some time to collect her thoughts about it and postpone the vote until the next meeting.
You know, I would just say, like, I am caught off guard about this. Like, I don't know that I did not raise my hand for this. I'm honored by the proposal. I think, like, no matter what happens, I think we all want, like, less tense kind of everybody coming to these meetings with a better positive energy. And maybe once we figure this all out, either way, like when the commission makes a decision, be it Lynn or me, or if the bylaws committee say that both of us can do it, it'd be great if we all just kind of like took a breath and started fresh with the new director and as the commission, and kind of got back to doing good things for the town and being excited about it.
Well, Blythe, do you want to make a motion to table it to the next meeting? Or otherwise, we would have to take a vote.
I'm fine with making that motion if people are ready to move. Unless there's further discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we table the vote for the director until the next January meeting.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
All in favor of tabling it to the second meeting in January?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
I am, John.
Okay.
One other thing too, there's a John's iPhone on there. Does anybody know who that is?
That's Ricky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's actually his first name, I believe.
So it is tabled to the next meeting. At which
Yes.
time I think probably both Lynn and Julie can each speak to why they would make, you know, what their case would be for moving forward as director. And then under the bylaws, I don't think it's possible to have a co-chair at this time. But if the bylaw committee comes back, I think maybe we could do that, you know, maybe a month or something, but at the moment, we'll go with the motion to table, and Lynn will resume chairing this meeting.
Thank you, Rufus. From there, we'll move on to old business. We'll start with Rick.
Good evening. I had a request from Eversource. They're doing line trimming in town and they needed a place to park trucks. And they asked if there was any town property available they could park 4 to 5 trucks on for probably at least 2 months, if not longer. And I know you would let us, the highway department, use the parking lot by the tennis courts before. And I told them I would ask about the use of it for January and February, since I don't think the park is used very much during those months. And if you would agree to it, you could put restrictions on it as far as they would have to put a, let's say, a portalet or a garbage cans, whatever, and you could limit how long they could be there, or say that within, a week or two's notice, they had to leave whenever you decided you wanted them out of there.
John Grant, is there any concern about trucks of that size going through that narrow passageway?
Well, here's the thing too, when we had the flooding back whenever that was, Rick, we also had a staging point there at the parking lot of the firehouse where they all lined up right there and they kept the trucks there. So, I mean, that would be the most convenient place because it's right in the center of town. I mean, you could ask the fire department. I mean, to me, that would be the better
I
choice.
think they have asked the fire department, and they don't want them there on the,
Yeah, but it's for the good of the,
I know, John, but I'm just telling you what the fire department is.
you've already
Told them
spoken
they've
to them?
asked before about parking there.
Oh, really? Because I thought we had a good rapport with those people, so I guess not. All right. But yeah, I would, if anything, it would probably be better at tennis courts. Well, you're talking 6 trucks, Rick?
I thought they said 4 to 5, but there could be 6. I'm not
Okay. I mean, that'll
positive.
fit, yeah, that'll fit in there without any problem.
What
And
about,
they have
our-
no problem with, having restricted time or anything like that, as long as they had enough time to find another lot. If you wanted them out of there right away.
Who would pay for the porta potty and the garbage removal?
Either the Eversource or Lewis Tree would have to,
Okay, that's fine.
if that's what if you want to say that's gotta be there, then they'll have to deal with it.
Right.
What
Okay,
about
thanks.
our significant concern about that culvert? That's 5
It's not
huge
gonna-
trucks. That's not the same driveway?
It is, but that's not gonna collapse.
From your
That was
lips
my
to-
only concern.
That would be my concern too.
Can we give them permission to park at their own risk with no liability on the commission?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have to have have a liability policy anyway for all their equipment, so.
I mean, there was a lot more vandalism, Rick, up at the Emery Park over the winter of the last 2 years. And I mean, to me, at Commons Park would be better, but a cautionary measure would be the culvert, yes. But if you say it's a good place to travel over, that's fine.
I mean, those trucks, they do weigh, but it's not like they're loaded with
That's fine.
20 tons of gravel or anything, so.
If you say it's okay by me. You're the engineer.
Can I just ask a
There, but-
question? If the culvert collapses while the Eversource trucks are running over it, whose responsibility is it to fix it?
I would assume it would be mine, since I'm supposed to be changing it anyway.
Sounds great.
Do we need anything in writing, Rick, or are we all set to go?
If you have any restrictions that you want to put on it, then that I'll have to, I wouldn't mind having that in writing so I can send it to them.
What are you talking about? What kind of restrictions would you suggest?
Like, whether you want to limit it to a certain number of trucks or include the portalet or garbage cans, anything like that.
So we normally have a porta potty out there anyhow for the tennis courts.
That's been picked up for the year, hasn't it? Or,
Yeah, I know, but normally that's, I mean,
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
yeah, normally we have one out there. So,
I mean, the Welcome Center does open at 7 o'clock every morning, but whether they would go there first or if they're already on the road at 7, I'm not sure. So,
How long is this project, Rick?
the total trimming would probably take longer than that, but they asked me to if they could find something for a couple months.
Okay.
Are they definitely coming in January?
I did say January, but I'll confirm a date if
Okay.
I don't want to get, too into it if there was no possibility of using a lot. So,
I was just thinking, are they gonna say it's put off and we're doing February and March type thing?
well, I don't want to get into the later months because then you're going to start using
Exactly,
the park and the tennis
Right.
courts again. So,
right.
So maybe should that be one of our considerations, that we want it to be, this is between today's date and March 1st or something like that? I mean, when do we want to make sure that things are open up for any work that we need to do on the parks, or any kind of access that people might want to have to parkland or tennis courts or anything like that, once the weather starts getting nicer? Do we need to put an end date on it, or no?
I mean, if you didn't want to put an end date, say that within, or let's say with a 2 weeks notice, they would have to be out. So you could decide at a later time. Something like that. And normally with these crews, the trucks would be out all day long, so there'd only be the cars that the employees came in, parked there during the day, so there would still be room for, if we did have nice weather, if somebody wanted to go over there and walk around or something, there should still be enough parking for that.
Any concern from the people who live back in there that, I don't know. I don't know if the
No, I
trucks are
guess-
gonna idle with their engines on, or what the deal is, but I would certainly not like to upset townspeople, if townspeople might be upset at the presence of the truck. I don't know of the trucks. I don't know if people, I don't know enough about how the town feels about the use of that parking lot or what, or the people who live back there feel about the use of that parking lot. And maybe it's not a big deal. I'm just trying to think of anything.
Vicky, don't we do this a lot? And you always come and ask us and we say yes, and
Yeah, I think I think, trucks park there occasionally. I see them. My house backs up to the park and I'm in the park every morning walking the dog. I wouldn't see them as a bother to the residents in Templeton. Certainly I can, listen and talk to the people that live back there and back up to the park. And if there's any concerns, I could bring it to the commission. But I don't see it as a problem. I can't imagine it would be.
Great,
If it does become a problem, we tell them they have to move on. So,
right.
Not only that, but maybe we can get the culvert fixed faster than we thought.
well, you might get some tree work out of them too. So,
Oh, that's good.
I'm seeing a win-win.
Wait a minute. Can we do a little bartering here?
well, if you got some dangerous trees over there, they can reach with the buckets. I'm sure we could work something out with Eversource.
I'm serious, John. Can you get over there and take a look at the trees and see if there's anything that needs to be
Well,
done?
I have to go, now I have to go through a policy. I think that's now in place with the tree
Oh,
warden. We
Okay.
have to go with the tree warden, but
Tell them that they owe us.
who's
No,
the tree warden, Rick?
Bruce Bennett's the tree warden. They'll have
Oh, he
him
still
look
is,
around.
okay.
yeah, the only one that I'm concerned about, Rick, is the one that's by the pavilion. It's an old, looks like an old hickory tree. I could be wrong, but it's kind of, it's starting to go. And that would cause a hazard to anybody walking by the paths there, so.
All right, we'd have to look into that one, John, because I don't know if they would do stuff where they can't get to with a bucket truck. So,
Okay, they should be able to get through there, well, from the other side, but that's okay, no problem. But yeah, here's to a new culvert. Yes, all right, way to go.
so I don't know if you guys can vote on this or
Yeah.
agree
do
to
we-
it tonight or not, or if you have to wait, but
Would somebody like to make a motion to allow the Lewis trucks and Eversource trucks to park in the Kent Commons parking lot?
So moved.
Thank you, John. Can I have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Blythe. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Thanks, Ricky.
All right, I'll write up some restrictions and run them by you.
Okay, perfect,
before I'm
thanks.
done. Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to the Director Search Committee update. It's just been on hold for the week. I'm going to reach out to the members this week and see when we can meet and get these interviews done. There's 3 interviews we need to do. They shouldn't take that long. Any questions on that?
I thought we were giving an offer. Did that not happen?
She's talking about the ASP Director Search Committee. I
Oh,
thought.
sorry. Okay.
Oh, you know what? No.
no, that's later in the agenda.
Yeah, I'm an airhead. Director Search Committee update, but basically, yeah, I was thinking ASP. Oh yeah, I did do that down below. Okay, I'm sorry. Totally messed that up. Director Search Committee update is going very well. We will put everything else about that down under number 9, executive session. Everyone's okay with
Great.
that?
You made my heart stop because I thought we were back into ground zero.
Sorry. Total mess up. Okay, so bylaws committee update.
We weren't able to meet last because town hall was locked. So
Okay.
we're looking to reschedule over the next 2 weeks. As Blythe mentioned, we have some ideas. The co-chair is an idea. We also were thinking about potentially organizing the commission into 2 groups, one for program and one for parks, to give a little bit more focus to the commissioners and have them ideally work on either one of those subjects in between sessions. And I think another objective was just to be sure that when the new director comes, that they feel like they have something to direct, so that we're putting them in a position where they can direct.
Yeah, that's what happens when the director comes in. Like I explained before, they'll be making a lot of the decisions that we've had to make as a full commission. And the same thing when the interim was here. That wasn't, they didn't have full director duties. They weren't able to do the full director duties, so we had to do a lot of that stuff too.
And the bylaws and the Constitution are very, there's a lot of shared language in there. We're not sure we need 2 documents, but that's another thing that we're looking at. Maybe we can combine that, but we're waiting on some information from Jean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a reason to have both documents. I can't think, I know it was explained before and I can't think of why.
If you could share that, Lynn, that would be great, because Jean wasn't sure
Okay.
last time we met at town hall, so.
And the other thing we're thinking about is creating a secretary and not having the director be the secretary, so the director can be more actively engaged in the meetings.
Like a volunteer secretary?
No, actually appointing one, having a commissioner be the secretary of for the commission in these meetings. Because right now the bylaws or the Constitution says that the director is the secretary.
That's a little bizarre. I would think
Mhm,
you'd want
it
him
is.
concentrating on other
Yeah.
things at the meetings, but
And that's what Leslie was always taking the notes during the meeting. And so, yeah, to your point, Rufus, we'd like to try to change that dynamic.
I can ask
Okay.
Jean at the Board of Selectmen's meeting to see if in the town ordinances and things like that with the commissions, there's anything that, I'll sort of try to get her to push to uncovering whatever, or let me at that question.
Yeah, that would be
But-
great. That would be great. Yeah, she was, one of our concerns was the ordinance and whether or not that can be updated / changed. I mean, the 3 documents, when you look at them, they are there's a lot of huge chunks of exact same language. And we were just trying to find out from Jean what our options were in terms of any kind of combination or change. So she was going to find out and let us know. So that would be great, Rufus.
Thank you.
Anything more on the bylaws committee? Great. Parks update on seasonal maintenance contractor.
Okay, so everything was in the newspaper, so we've only gotten one contractor to reply back. So I don't know what you want to do. I mean, it's there's no doubt that the budget, what the minimum is, so that we have to have at least three bids. What is that, Lynn? What is the minimum?
I think anything over $1,000, we have to have 3 bids for.
Okay, so we've only got one so far, so the only thing I would suggest is that we put it out there again and see what happens. I know it's the wrong time of the year. A lot of these places have closed down, but the only other thing would be to call these people up and see if they would be interested. So, I mean, and we can't do that, so.
I'll have to see what Joyce says if you only get one bid, how that works.
John, where is the ad again? Is it on the town website?
No, it was in 2 papers. It was in the Spectrum, the New Milford Spectrum, and it was in the Waterbury Republican.
Okay,
The Waterbury Republican for 2 days, and then the Spectrum is only a weekly paper.
okay, thanks.
And that went out, oh God, I don't have it with me right now, but it went out at least 2 weeks in advance of December 31st.
Any more on that? We'll check to see what our next step is, put that back on the next meeting.
Yep. Yeah, all right, that's fine. I mean, we can make a decision again. I mean, because there's right now, there's nobody there anywhere at any of these seasonal places, so yeah.
John, why is it that you can't call people? See
I don't know.
if-
I always thought because it's a bid, we can't really interfere. But I could be wrong, Rufus. I could be.
Yeah, I can double check but I would think that in lieu of the fact that we need bids,
Right.
if we knew that there were certain number of local or very close by contractors, just call them up and say, hey, don't know if you were aware or missed our ad, but, just put this out to you. We're looking for bids. Go to the town website.
Great. What I can do is if you can give me that information, and then I can proceed.
Okay.
All right.
We can put it on the Facebook page too,
Yeah, I mean,
and then
or
start
yeah.
sharing it, yeah. I didn't do that yet. Okay. Good on that. Parks Master Plan, just keeping it on here.
Did we skip field maintenance or what? I'm just,
We put that down on new business.
oh, we moved it, okay.
Yeah. All right, 21-22 monthly budget. Anybody look at that, have any questions?
Was it
There's a lot of
the
money.
worksheet?
I think we have two things. We have the worksheet and to work on if we want to do anything for the capital plan, which is basically next. But the budget, the monthly budget report was to look over and just see where our money is, what we have left.
I didn't get a chance to look at that report, but do we need to be thinking ahead about budgeting in additional salary for, as we
Yes.
talked about in the last meeting?
Yeah, by our next meeting, we're gonna have to have that budget filled out. It's much easier to do in person.
They want the departmental budget request return date is the 21st of January.
So take a look at those budgets reports that we've gotten and see if there's places where we want to increase. Even, on the income side too. And then at the next meeting, we'll be filling that out. Okay, any questions on that? All right, we'll move on to 5-year capital plan. Same thing, we have to get numbers in if we want anything. And I think that has to be in by the 7th.
There's gonna be we're gonna need to do some work on the field maintenance. So that will have to be something that we'll have to add to the capital plan. There's too many dips in the field and we could probably straighten it out and level it off eventually, but we need the cash to do that, so.
Well, don't forget the capital plan will take 5 years from
Yeah, I know,
today.
I know.
And I think the minimum is 25,000.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So something like that field maintenance thing, maybe we have to put more into the park maintenance
No, it would be playground. It would be the playground.
of the playground.
I mean, I'm sorry, not the playground. It would be the field maintenance. You're correct. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Rufus.
So does anybody at this time have anything they want to put into the 5-year capital plan? John, do you want to put something like that in there? Can you make something up?
Well, here's the thing, Rufus, you've been in town a long time as well. So I mean, I was just wondering, I mean, the backstop eventually is going to need replacing. The fields are going to have to be leveled out eventually, so it makes it a lot easier for the kids so they don't stumble. And maybe a proper drainage as far as like, hopefully we'll get rid of some of the grubs. So, and there's the shed down there that the kids have ruined. They've taken a lot of the shingles off it. So, yeah, I would like to put some money in there if I could. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it would hurt because it would be kind of proactive of the commission to put money in there, especially with the fact that I think a new director is going to have ideas and things like that. I'd rather
Right.
at least get money into the 5-year plan. And there's probably several different things that we can use as how we would spend it. Whether it's pool upgrades or playground upgrade or, field upgrade and then that at least gets it into the plan.
Mhm.
Right.
I thought we had money for the playground. We've been talking about the drainage issue since I've been on the commission. And I know John has been talking about it for a long time before that. And even though we don't have a master plan, that is going to be the first thing that's going to be need to be fixed. I mean, it's an obvious issue when you walk back there. It's a safety issue. I think we should put money in there for fixing the drainage. I wouldn't know how much to budget for that, but I know it's a big problem, and it's an expensive problem, but no matter what we put in there, the playground chips get washed away, the pathway going up to the tennis court gets washed away. People can roll their ankles on that. It creates channels on the sides of the pathway going up to the tennis court. And I know John's been talking about it for years before I have even been around, so would hope we could put something in there for that.
Maybe 50 grand, because it's going to need some earthwork.
Yeah, Abigail, you probably know.
Basically, the pitch of the tennis courts, the slope is it's at too great of a pitch, so that's throwing off how the water is moving. So we might have to rethink the topography, and then I think the material of the path that's gonna wash away all the time.
Right,
where there's pitch.
I don't know if they can put some, drainage pipes on the side of that pathway. But I know that, like, as John has said in the past, that the drainage from the affordable housing complex in back of the tennis courts comes down right in back.
Yeah.
And it just, when it rains hard, you can just see the water come around the tennis courts and just wash everything out.
Yeah, because you're going from one impervious surface to another impervious surface that's just searching for the lowest point that's pervious.
Right.
So, I would assume it's going to need some earthwork to remedy it. But then again, none of us have studied it, so we're just throwing a number out there.
Don't forget, we do have that money available now that we could get
Well-
somebody in there this spring.
Yeah, we haven't done a survey of the Commons Park yet. So I mean, that would be the first thing, the most important thing that you would want to do first. And I've sent this before.
But we
So we
know
need-
that we need money for the drainage. So if we can get that, and it's a 5-year capital plan, if we can get that in there, at least we can maybe start getting some money held for that.
So we can use the money that we have available now for that too.
I didn't know that. I thought we could only use that for what it was budgeted for originally.
Well, it would require going to a town meeting and asking for it to be changed, but I don't see them saying no, since it's already for the parks. Like the $100,000 we have for the pool, we should get the pool fixed this year. The
Definitely.
50,000 that we have for one park, I think there's 50,000 for Ken Commons and 50,000 for Emery, I believe. Could be wrong, but that money is there.
I thought someone had said that we have to use that money for that was designated for the playground equipment to go towards playground equipment, and okay, we can get permission to change that, you're saying.
Yes.
John, I mean, how do you feel about that, trying to get it changed for drainage? Because I know
Well-
that everybody wants, it looks nice to have new playground equipment, but it's not fixing the underlying problem that we have.
Right.
And it
Before
may
you
not
build,
take the whole 50,000, especially if we can get somebody local to do it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna cost 50,000 to fix the drainage. We can still buy a really nice piece of playground equipment if we decide to go that way.
I mean, I've talked to Rick about the drainage and he agrees with me. It definitely is a problem with the drainage. But before you do anything, you need to do the drainage first. I mean, well, first of all,
The survey.
you have to do a survey. B, you have to do the drainage, and then you can plan out your parks from then on. So, yeah.
I'm just saying, because we have until, I think we only have another week or so, right, to put in for that money.
Friday.
Yeah, so maybe we should do it, and because we know it's gonna be, well, I guess if we can use the other money, we can do that also, but I mean, we know the survey is gonna cost a few $1,000s.
So you could put $25,000 in for, the survey's gonna cost how much?
What
I
if-
don't know what Gary Hawk would charge, but I know he would give us a break, so. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably gonna be a few thousand. I would not be surprised if that drainage was a lot more than we thought. That's a big, if there's a big
Yeah.
problem and they have to put PVC piping in or whatever they put in under, like, again, Abigail, you probably know more about that than I do. But,
You know,
I've
I
done,
know
I've done.
it probably is going to take some earthwork.
I've had drainage issue at my last house where we had to have some work done and it was unbelievable, the cost.
I think, John, to your point, you're right. Like, dealing with the infrastructure and getting the infrastructure in place to take care of the drainage is definitely something that needs to be done before we think about adding any new programs to either one of the parks, I would think.
Well, first of all, you want to get the survey. I want to get that survey done so that we can move forward.
Well, would you like to take the lead on that then? I haven't been able to I haven't had the time to be able to follow that through.
If, normally the town uses Gary Hawk a lot, so maybe I could talk to him and we can see without going through a bidding process. So I'll find out from him if it comes in with us, how the lesser amount, was it $1,000, Lynn?
I believe so. If anybody has, I think is it not in the bylaws or constitution? It's somewhere that we have it.
It is in one of those two docs, and I could pull it up.
I don't remember.
Okay.
You think you can do it for under 1,000? Because that sounds impossible to me, but.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done your area. He's done he's done the
I'll give
fire.
him a survey, you can go off of that.
He's done the firehouse and so he's basically done the whole area except for us. So it'd be easy for him.
Wow, that'd be great if he.
I'll tell you, there's been a long history of drainage problems there.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Because,
So,
I mean, 20 some odd years ago, the tennis courts were in just terrible, terrible shape from the shifting and everything else. And it is that part of the town that just has this water runoff. It always has. So it's going to be expensive.
John, I can confirm that any expenditures exceeding $1,000 for any single purchase shall be determined by competitive bidding. A maximum of 3 bids should be sought.
Okay, so I'll call him up and I'll ask him what he thinks it would cost. And then do you guys want me to put an ad in the paper again?
I don't know if that route's I don't know if we're gonna get, I don't know if the right people would be reading the paper for that type of work. We might just need to do a little research and go out and ask some people, some civil engineers. I don't know who's doing the streetscapes. Potentially that group could do a topo for us.
Actually, yeah, Jack Nelson's very good, right? Rufus?
Yeah, Jack would know.
Is
Well,
that
we have-
$1,000 number a town number?
In
You
our
have to-
bylaws,
Can we change that and increase it while you're doing the
we
bylaws?
can.
Because I mean, kind of, I don't know how long it's been $1,000, but these days you
Yeah.
can't do much for $1,000.
It
I
was
think
written in
it's-
1999. It was last amended in 99. So probably could be updated.
I mean, I can come, hopefully, I'll tell you what, I'll try and get a hold of Jack before the next meeting. I'll see if I can get an estimate on what the cost would be, and then we can go from there. Is
Do we
that
need to
okay with
make-
everybody?
Do we need any decisions made on this? I mean, I think Lynn said that the capital plan is due on the 7th. That's before our next meeting. I don't know if we're talking budget, or the capital plan, but if we need to make decisions about about the capital plan before the end of this week. We don't have a whole lot of time to reach out to, to somebody who can do it for $1,000 or laugh at us, and then we have to go to bids, which might be more than $1,000. Are we set up for that?
Don't we already have the money to pay for this right now, though, and the capital plan instead is for spending 5 years out? Like, shouldn't
Yeah,
the-
that's
what we're
what I
putting in the
understand.
worksheet for the
Yes.
capital plan
Right.
not affect this?
I think we should put some in the capital plan for 5 years, but I also think that the drainage should be taken care of immediately this spring or as quickly as we can
I agree.
with the money that we have now available. I don't see even if we have to go get it changed at a meeting, which wouldn't be until May, unfortunately, we can talk to the town, and I don't know if there'll be a meeting before that.
Okay, so John is gonna reach out and see if somebody would be able to do it for less than $1,000.
The survey.
The survey.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And then for the capital plan for the next coming 5 years, that's what we should figure out now, that we would like to put money into that, correct?
Correct.
Right.
So you would have to designate it for the Emery Parks, and then you'd have to designate it for the common parks. Is that right, Lynn?
I'm sorry, John, say that again.
So when you put in the money in there, you have to designate for specific use for a certain
Correct.
area.
Correct. And those can be changed through a town meeting, but for the
Right.
most part, it should be something along those lines.
Okay.
Perhaps next year we could do a survey to get some intelligence from the community of what they would like us to prioritize. And one thing that I have heard, I haven't heard it in a while, but COVID has, made it hard to see people. And I'm not saying I'm an advocate for this, I'm just putting it out there that people seem to be very interested in having a dog run or a dog park or somewhere to take dogs, and they can have the dogs run around and meet each other and talk.
That was proposed earlier, 2 years ago.
I think that might be something where you try to include maybe some of the land trusts, because they have a huge amount of land right next to town. I don't think that necessarily should just be a park and rec issue.
Good point, Rufus. I'm sure Connie would be up for that.
Somebody pointed out that we did have some land, park and rec in back of the tennis court that's kind of wooded now. It could be cleared to be more park-like, but yeah, I didn't think of the land trust. They have a lot more land.
Although they do use most of it for haying, and that's how they make some of their money back. So, it might be a good conversation to have with Connie.
I just think that, at some point, some of the other needs of the town need to also be addressed by the land trusts.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure people would love to have a Riverwalk area, so I don't know, but our park areas are pretty limited, so to carve into them
Mhm.
might be better to see if we can get the land trusts interested in enticing dog owners to think about them.
Yeah, no, I'm just throwing it out there because
Yeah.
I'm trying to just speak up to what I've heard from the community, not saying I'm pro or con, but more partnerships with land trusts. And I think it was great that we partnered with them on the concert series.
Right.
So back to the capital plan, it's probably safe to assume that we'll at least have to do some maintenance in the next 5 years on any new or existing playground equipment, and then also any access or drainage issues to the parks. So should we ballpark some numbers and put them in there with those as kind of the stipulations, like playground maintenance, walking path or trail maintenance?
We could just call it capital improvements.
Yeah, great.
And earmark, it's still kind of unclear to me what it takes to maintain the parks, but perhaps
What if we,
150,000.
yeah,
I mean, I think it needs to be a big number. Bigger than 25.
I don't think they're gonna let us get away with just saying capital improvements. I think it needs to be more.
Yeah,
defined.
Barbara's very specific.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to be more specific about it.
This is only gonna roll around every 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
That's-
every year you can put money into the capital plan, but it's not ready for 5 years. It's
Okay, so we,
like savings for it for 5 years through the town, and then in 5 years, your money's ready.
so every year we have money that we put in 5 years, for 5 years prior. Okay, I see.
No, we don't put money in every year. You have the
Huh.
option to put money in every year.
So have we done that the last few years?
We have, what do we say, 100,000 from 2015 to fix the pool. So
Yep.
that would be nice to use. There's 50,000, I think, that came in last year for one of the parks, and then another 50,000 available in June or July, if I could find that email. Exactly.
What about funding for the eventual master plan moving forward? We need to add that.
That's the other thing that you could put in for.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, so when you're talking about capital, it's usually physical things. And so what we were hoping is that when we have the master plan done, that will inform the capital projects we want to do down the line.
right.
And that would be done with involvement from the town, the people of the town, not just here at this commission. And so, all we've been trying to do is get funding to do the master plan to inform how we're spending the capital, which is the taxpayers' money. So from what I understand, we can't put a line item in the capital plan for the master plan, but that would be amazing if we can. But I don't think we shouldn't wait 5 years for that. That's something we should do now. And then we'll have those line items of what we want capital for. So we can't predict what that is yet because we haven't done any planning.
I
Yeah.
found that if
The whole idea of the capital plan is to sort of plan out and balance out town expenditures so that each year is somewhat equal and there aren't going to be any huge spikes in need of additional revenue, whatever, for expenses. I don't know what the current Board of Finance does with, if we felt that we really need to spend, I don't know what you'd spend for a master plan, 15, 20,000. If you wanted to do that in 2 or 3 years, I don't know if the Board of Finance is willing to look at something that close in.
Well, we did go through the process and we did put, we put an RFP out, put it out to bid. We had a amount, I can't remember at this point, it's been a while, but I think it was between 20 and 25 to spend on the master plan. At that time, the select board didn't want to spend money on doing it.
That's a shame, because I believe in planning.
I have the email if you guys want me to go over what we have now, what's available and what it's being allocated for.
Okay,
Right, so this is from the treasurer. I'll just go down. It says in fiscal year 17, when the 5-year capital plan was being formulated during the fiscal year 18 budget process, Park and Rec requested $100,000 for fiscal year 22 for the Kent Common Park Playground and $100,000 in fiscal year 24 for the Emery Park Playground. Before the final budget was approved for fiscal year 18, the $100,000 for the Kent Common Playground was split into two $50,000 appropriations, and $50,000 was moved to fiscal year 23 per the BOF meeting of 2/21/17. On 7/1/2015, the Emery Park repair pool floor appropriation was fully funded for $150,000. That appropriation was never spent and it remains untouched in the capital funds. So that would be wonderful to use that. On 7/1/2013, tennis courts in Kent Common appropriation was fully funded for $100,000. That appropriation was utilized in fiscal year 14, which is build 2 post-tension concrete tennis courts over existing asphalt courts in Kent Commons. $975 remains of the original appropriation. Currently, the capital fund is showing the following cash balances. Emery Park pool floor for $150,000, tennis courts, what was left over, the $975, and playground for Kent Common of $50,000, funded 7/1/21. So the $150,000, the $975, and the $50,000 are sitting there waiting to be used. Currently, the capital plan is showing the following future appropriations. In fiscal year 23, playground is the other $50,000 for the Kent Common. So total funding will be $100,000 on 7/1/22. So that July
Lynn,
will
is
have,
this written? Is this written
I
in
can
an
send it to
email?
you, yep.
That would be so helpful for tracking everything you're saying.
Emery Park Playground is $100,000 in fiscal year 24, so that's next year. And then fiscal year 25, so 2 years, is the tennis courts, and it's 20,000. Oh, maybe we can go down to 20,000. A 3-coat color system with lines and 2 tennis courts. Note, none of the cash balance funding or the capital plan funding can be redirected or used for any other purpose without Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and taxpayer approval, hence the meeting.
Wow.
so
Well, yeah, how difficult is that to get those 3 approvals to move that money around?
I don't think it's that difficult as long as it's gonna go for a good thing. It's just a matter of you have to wait until May, unless another town meeting is called for some other reason and we can get added to that agenda.
I just feel grossly uninformed about this part of what we do. I can't track anything that was just said. And I don't
Coming at
understand
ya.
the process.
There you go. I just
And
sent
it's
the
hard,
email.
it's hard to similar to, it's hard to have these conversations without seeing anything ahead of time and understanding. Thank you for this email.
It sounds like there's a lot of potential money out there, but I certainly think we need to be thinking ahead to what we need to put in the capital plan. We can't not put something in there. We should put something in there, and if we have to itemize that is for, I mean, we know that this, what are they, the grubs, like, if this is going to be something that we have to do every year, that's a lot of extra money that we don't usually plan for. So, these kinds of things, I think we need to at least put some stuff in there for 5 years down the road, even though there is this swirling $200,000 that we can seem to play with. We should make some decisions about what we want to put in there just as a base number with some specifics, I guess, to back it up in terms of what projects we would be looking at.
I think,
And I agree. If we're going to spend, if we already have a whole bunch of money in there that is earmarked for the playgrounds, and then we suddenly want to put in, another bid for the 5-year capital plan, so then we go, oh, playgrounds, and they go, well, you already have all this other money for playgrounds.
Right.
We don't want to look like we're just making stuff up.
But we are.
I think that, what I hear is master plan, that's not covered. And, John's talked about field upgrade, things like that. Those aren't really necessarily the pool or the playground or, so we could choose a number. I think the director with a park and rec background,
Right.
Leslie never had that background.
Right.
But somebody with a park and rec background should be taking, would be part of his job to say, hey, this is what we should plan for, or these are, these are ways of expanding our programs, but this is what we'll need to think about as far as capital expenditures. So hopefully that will be better. I could see putting for 2026 a request in for $50,000 or maybe $75,000 for drainage work, for master plan, and then get that in place, and then possibly come back and say, we've got a new director on board. We want to spend some of the money that was set aside for maybe Emery Park. Some of that 100,000 we want to spend on the master plan now, and we want to switch what we're spending, but we get it in place. I think you can use the idea of money for master plan, the money for drainage, specific things like that have come up, and field improvement, field grading, things like that.
But that should be a separate line item because it's not part of the park. Technically, it wasn't part of the parks. It's something that we took over from the school. So those fields, those playing fields should be a separate item. Anything that it should be submitted as such, as a separate item, line item altogether.
Yeah, it does have its own line item in the budget.
It does, okay.
I believe it does. Remember we talked about when Chris was talking about giving all those duties over to us of the fields and stuff like that, and
Right.
they were going to combine the two, but then they decided not to, I guess, and kept them separate.
Okay.
They're going to combine the playing fields committee budget with the park and rec budget, but I do not believe that happened.
Good.
So what if we just kind of said that our list would be as generic as a dollar amount, which would be for master plan, drainage, trail and structure maintenance, and like paving, and just pick up a throw a number in there. Is that specific enough?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that personally. I mean, I could, because that at Emery Park, the the roadway down to the back has always been used for Rick dumping any extra asphalt that he had.
Yep.
And it's really in sad shape. I mean, it's really sad shape. Anybody could bottom out their car. And if you have somebody who wants to drop off the kids for summer camp, and that's the way they usually go, all the way down to the back there, could cause a problem with some of these cars. So,
You know, or we may decide based on the survey that we get that the drainage and trying to, you know, that we need to pave some places that are currently wood chipped eventually. But I mean, I think if we had a list that said, this is what we would look for this money to do, and because there are going to be drainage issues, not necessarily around the tennis court. There might be drainage issues, you know, in Emory someplace, or.
well,
you know,
I think we did, Diane and I did that, right, Diane? Didn't we walk through that, both the parks?
Yes.
And you wrote them all down, and then Abigail put them on a piece of paper?
Yep.
Great.
You know, but if we focused on that, the master plan, the drainage, the trail and structure maintenance, and by structures, I mean the pavilion, you know, new shingles on the roof at Emory, and paving, maybe those are 4 ongoing things that we should be looking at, but at least that's specific enough for the treasurer.
We could, well, yeah.
When
With
you
some-
say
say
with some-
master plan, is it like, are you saying the planning part or the outcomes from the master plan? Just a clarifying question. Blythe.
Well, I think we wanted to say, you know, because there is some money that's already going to the master plan or can be reallocated to the master plan, but then we want to make it up later if we have to reallocate funds now. If we want to say, you know, we're going to take the Emory pool, 50,000 from that and put it into a parks master plan now, somewhere down the line, we've got to find that money again. So I think however much, you know, I'm not saying for what would come out of the master plan, I'm saying funding the
Okay,
master
okay.
plan, getting that
Yeah.
done, getting that document done, so that then
Yeah.
future considerations would include what comes out of that master plan.
Hey, before we start asking, are we prepared to explain to the town why we've had $150,000 since 2015 for a pool floor and it's just been sitting there? Before we start asking for more money, don't you think? I mean,
I could not tell you why it hasn't been used.
Well, it wasn't really in bad shape. It was just some of the walls on the side, which he took care of. So it's been patchwork all along, but now it's, if you go up there right now, look at it, it's in dire need of like a good $50,000 worth of resurfacing. And
oh, no, I agree with you, John. I can imagine that the treasurer would look at that $150,000 and wonder.
Well, this is part of what we're trying to decide. This is part of why we need a master plan. Because part of what we were going to examine in the master plan is talking to the town about the pool. So
In 6 years though, Blythe.
but I know, but I mean, putting $150,000 into fixing up a pool that may or may not come out in a master plan as an element of that plan is a similar, I mean, that's a waste of money. At least it's
True.
not, you know what I mean?
True,
So
true.
maybe that's
I
that's
just
what I
think-
would say. If somebody cornered me in the grocery store and said,
Yeah,
right, what are you doing? I would say, well, we have this great group of people and we have this master plan idea that we'd like to get done. The RFP is already out there. We're actually, the ball was rolling on that one. And part of that was examining the use of Emory Park. And so to put an expenditure in for $150,000 to fix a pool that may not be there in the long run is a waste of money. That's what my argument would have been.
fair enough.
Well, you know, when you say that, do you, how much money do we really want to put into that pool? That's another question. I'm not sure if it's the right time to be bringing it up, but
That's why we wanted to do it. That's why
Yeah,
we
that
wanted
was-
to make a plan.
That was
Yeah.
part of the plan
can-
was part of that plan was going to be examining in the town and also just financially, and what kind of interest there was in keeping a pool versus putting in a different kind of pool or putting in a splash pad at, the Kent Commons. I mean, we were tossing around all kinds of ideas, but we had no decisions because that's as far as we got.
We got voted down in the selectmen meeting the town meeting wouldn't approve us doing a master plan.
That's what
They
I
wouldn't fund
recall.
it. They wouldn't fund it. We had some money within our budget that we were willing to allocate towards it, but we wanted some money. We were asking the money for the town to also provide some money. So it was a give and a take, where PNR was ready to use some of our budget to fund it, but we needed additional money from the Board of Selectmen, and they were not willing.
If we could reallocate $150,000 and do a master plan and get everybody to approve it, that would probably be the way to go, because then we know what we're doing and there's planning involved and.
For sure. And it wouldn't cost $150,000 to do a master plan. But
well,
it
just to
would
be-
include the community in our decisions and enable them to weigh in.
And in the interest of moving the meeting along, I suggest we try to get back to what we're trying to talk about, which is the 5-year capital plan number. What,
Yes,
we're talking about a lot of hypotheticals here, and we have a ton of desires and wishes, and there's money out there, and we'll figure out how to reallocate that all later. Maybe we could just figure out the number for the capital plan and the descriptor that we would offer, at least as an initial description, to accompany our request.
I would say, just looking at it, I would say the maximum would be 200,000 divided between 4 different areas.
In those areas, we said paving.
Paving, master plan, drainage, trail and structure maintenance.
Well, and I wanted to add the playing fields as well.
But isn't that a separate line item, didn't Lynn say?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see it under our budget, so we can go with making that claim, and then in negotiating, if it's somewhere else, then we say, okay, then don't give us as much.
Rufus, do you have a copy of the whole town budget?
I don't.
did we say, we
It's
said
somewhere.
the 4 things: master plan, drainage, structure maintenance, and paving, and then we're considering field maintenance as well?
Yep.
It's going to probably want more definitive areas to put it to, so be prepared.
Trail and structure maintenance.
Trail and
Yep.
structure maintenance. I don't know, Rufus, how does it sound to you?
I think we'd go with that, and then we can negotiate flipping things. If we have to. Say we really need, with it, you go back to the Board of Selectmen, say with a new director, and whatever, we need to do the master plan now rather than in a few years. So that we want to use some of the money that was allocated maybe for the Emery Park pool, but we will shift that off to finding out. I mean, you've got that, and the master plan has to come out of a survey that includes all, the town, and it's going to be pretty detailed, and but I like the idea of paving, the master plan, playing fields, and trail maintenance and expansion as 4 items for that. Put it in and see what.
Not drainage, Rufus?
How about, yeah,
Oh, we had drainage in there too.
Yeah, so
Paved
there were actually
drainage.
5.
Yeah. That's right, drainage.
Do we have a dollar amount we want to put in?
So I think John said 200 and split it across all of those.
You know, you could put probably, you know, 25 or 30,000 to the master plan and or 25,000 to the master plan and more toward drainage and paving, little less maybe on trail maintenance and, you know, but people realize that paving expenses and drainage expenses are big, so you might put 100,000 towards those and split up the other 100,000 amongst the other three.
So say that again. What was the 100,000?
Toward paving and drainage.
25 for the master plan.
25 for parks and for trails and structure maintenance, and 50 for field maintenance.
Right.
50 for field maintenance. So what do we have there? Let me see. Yes, works out. It's 200.
That's 200, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 25 to drainage. That's what we said.
No,
100,000. Okay, so I have master plan 25,000, drainage and paving 100,000, trail and structure maintenance 25,000, and field maintenance 50,000.
yep.
Okay. Just trying to put it in the chat. Try to show what we're saying, but
Thank
I only
you.
have one hand to type with because I got a baby in my other one. Sorry.
Lucky you.
More effective.
Are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
let's do
Who's
it.
gonna fill out the paperwork?
Is there a specific paper that we need to fill
Yeah,
out?
yeah, there is. It came on our email. So it talks about future planning and your 4-year funding in place. So
Could we just do it right now since we're all sitting here?
sure.
Just
Who's
an
got
F-
a copy?
I'm just gonna throw this in there.
It's this PDF. Nope, that's
I don't have that. I don't know why. I have everything.
budget worksheet.
That's it.
That it's the budget worksheet.
Not the new one we just got,
No, the
the
old
one
one,
I
yeah.
just sent you. It has to be capital plan worksheet, I believe it says.
Oh, I don't have that. I don't have.
KCS ball field maintenance has a budget line of 8,750.
Hang on a second. You sent us a capital plan worksheet.
Did I send
Barbara,
that
I've got
last time?
I've got a Parks and Recreation worksheet for FY23 budget.
That's the one I just sent today.
Yep.
So go back a week. You should see it from Barbara.
Was it sent to everybody, John?
I'm not sure. I did.
Can somebody screen share it if they have it?
I will be happy to if I have it. I don't think I have it. Mm-mm.
I didn't get anything from Barbara a week ago.
This has been an hour and 40 minutes. I think we've been.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I know we have another meeting. Can this be the last item we cover today?
Could we also just do the executive session real fast about personnel?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we can't do it at the meeting because we don't have the document. We can't finish this capital plan thing.
Well, if
I'll
somebody,
send an email with everybody with what we just decided. So whoever's
I
able to
might
do
have found it.
Oh,
I just
thanks.
tried to send it to everybody.
Thanks, Michael.
I have the email, but I can't, it's not
see it.
it's not loading the,
So,
Is it the form that's attached to the
Oh.
thing Lynn sent with all the park
Michael
projects?
just,
Michael just sent.
sent it. I
Okay.
can't share my screen because I don't have permission, but in it is a worksheet.
I'll give you permission, just a
Seems-
second.
Like we may be able to edit it. Yep, we can edit it. But the
Should be all
pages-
set. Abigail, try to share.
Great. So,
That's it.
ugh, I can't rotate the view of it though, so we can see it. But we're gonna put the projects here. I can't edit it because it's sideways.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that what we want to do? We're not touching any of these guys here. So we're just putting in 5 new projects.
Yeah.
And we're
And then in
putting
that
it in
first,
for,
right, that first green column, we put the numbers we came up with, right? For fiscal year 2027.
for fiscal year 2027. So
But funding requests in green shaded areas only.
Yeah,
So
so right
Here
here,
is where we're putting
underneath
it.
you,
yep, right there.
And then I'm putting, one thing that we just talked about.
Yep.
The other thing, all
Yep.
5,
Yep,
and the number.
yep. And then
But not-
Okay,
total it at the bottom of the column.
here.
Not playing field
Sure.
maintenance, because that's not in our budget, right?
Field, no, we did have,
So-
we did say,
We did have it.
I would
We
put
did
it
say-
in there just because you don't know where that line is supposed to be. And that would be something that we could take out if it's in the school budget.
It's not in the school budget. It has its own line item on the town budget. It's,
I'll put it in here for now. And then if we want to take it out, we can take it out.
yeah, I mean, if we get called
And
on
then-
carpet on it, we can always take it out.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can edit this document. So if I have to write it in, who do I give it to?
It goes to, take a copy of it for everybody. And it goes to Barbara.
Okay.
Line number 046-000 is KCS ball field maintenance, Rufus. If you're looking at it, it's underneath the
Right.
Swift House. Before the transfer station.
What was that line number again?
046-000.
Okay. And that's the field maintenance.
Correct, for 8750.
Are we gonna do a motion for this?
Yes. Would someone like to make that motion, please, with detail?
I can try. I would like to make a motion to request money for the 5-year capital plan. Just looking here at my notes.
Diane, it's in the chat if you want to see it, the 25 for the master plan. 50
Okay.
for fields.
Okay, and that will be in the amount of $25,000 for the master plan, $100,000 for drainage and paving, $25,000 for trail and structure maintenance, and $50,000 for field maintenance.
Do we have to break it down even more, Lynn, to where it has to go?
We've got-
I've never
it's-
filled
it's-
these
I
out
just-
before, so.
It's 46 after, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Could we-
think
could we
if they come
just
back, I think the
move
whole
with what
point
we
here is
got?
let's file the paperwork on time. And and if they come back and say we need more specifics, then we can provide more specifics, but let's
Right.
make sure that we just do what we have for now.
Can I have a second on that motion, please?
Second.
Second.
Second, third.
All those in favor say aye.
Same
Aye.
with-
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. These are the kind of things that take time. There's no way around it.
Yeah, but we need to be prepared.
I believe we have been talking about it a few times. Review of 2022, 2022 meeting dates. Rufus, you had a thing with
I
that?
was-
Were we gonna go on, were we gonna have this be the last item and then go into executive session? Could we do the meeting dates at our next meeting?
No, they need to be in. They should already been in, and there's a problem with them.
Okay.
I
So-
just wanted to, when I went to put things in my calendar, the calendar has Park and Rec meetings on Sunday nights, here. I think there was a Sunday night. And so I think that
What?
whatever happened, we need to just review and I think, Lynn, we could probably just make sure, go over what is already in the town calendar and alter it. But somebody, I know that people went over dates and I had not written them all down, so I went to the town calendar to write them in, and I didn't think we'd ever would do a Sunday night meeting, so I think
Something happened.
something happened in translation, so I don't know if we have to go further than that tonight. We could probably skip that, but just whoever had those dates should double check with the town calendar.
And Darlene could have put one in on the wrong day too, maybe. I don't know. She's not usually mistakey like that, but the other thing is, do we still have our meeting scheduled for the 17th, which is a holiday?
I have the 18th.
I think we
Okay,
have the 8th.
maybe I was looking at not the last updated one.
Wait, I'm looking at one that I thought was it's not the last one. I see January 17th. Is that not the last?
That's what I was looking at, but the 17th is the holiday, so it should be on the 18th.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay,
The last one that was sent, because the last one.
The one she just
well,
sent.
all right,
Okay.
Diane, so can you just look through that and quickly just confirm those dates for us and send that off to Darlene as a corrected copy?
Yeah, there weren't any Sundays on, so something happened
Okay,
on her end, I think.
and then just check this January and February meetings that they're not on the 2 holidays. Okay.
I make a motion, we skip to item 9 and we move into executive session.
I'll second that.
I'm just making sure that there's nothing that can't wait for the other things, which I think that's fine. All right, so all those in favor of moving into executive session at 8:50 PM, say aye.
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 Okay. Can I please have a motion to exit executive session at 9:06?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Okay.
Jump on that one.
You guys are eager. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and at this time, we are going to end the meeting. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:06 as well?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Night,
Good night
everybody.
until the 18th.
Productive night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, everyone.
Sweet.